Carly, and you're watching Chatting with Carly. It's crazy to say that now being married. I'm here with my husband, Emmanuel. Say hey to the people.
Hello.
Yeah, we're married. We got married July 2nd in 2024. And by the time this video comes out, it'll be a month that we were married so far. And it's already been such a crazy, beautiful ride. Today, we're going to be talking about conviction even after waiting. And when we mean waiting, we mean waiting to have sex, which is what we did. We got our little grown folk juice.
No, this is Welch's. You know, the little grape, clear one. Yeah, white grape.
Yep, and cheers.
Refreshing.
Very refreshing. The reason why this topic came about was because we were literally just in our kitchen and just talking, and we didn't know that we both felt the same thing at the exact same time. It was like, oh wait, you felt conviction too, like you? And then he was like, yeah, like I did. We didn't realize that we both felt that. First and foremost, like, let's talk about, like, we were both nervous, obviously, to have sex. How did it feel for you the wedding day when it was like, I do? Let's be real. If you were waiting, once you hear I do, or even us just being in Mexico, it was really freaky because we had a destination wedding. It was freaky to know that, like, oh my God. Obviously, we have the wedding stress, the wedding planning, so that takes up your mind. But to know that we were gonna do it, it would like slip my mind. Yeah, exactly. It would slip into my mind randomly at the most random moments. I was getting so nervous, and I did not expect to be that nervous. Like, you were nervous?
I was nervous. It was basically like, okay, I actually got to do this now. I mean, when you really, like, you know, I feel like it's so easier to now do something when you can't than to do it when you can. Not that I'm saying it was hard to do it after, but, you know, it's like the nerves come.
They come. Yeah, so obviously we got married. Obviously we did it. But, like, another part that I did not really think about with waiting for marriage was the conviction that we felt afterwards. Like, I'm like, why am I feeling convicted? Like, oh my God, I need to pray. And then I'm like, wait, I'm married. Like, what is that? And I think that goes back to, like, just obviously, like, purity culture. And it just, like, we both grew up in Haitian churches. The number one thing is, like, you don't have sex. You just keeping yourself, making sure you're pure. That's the number one thing that they emphasize so much. And sometimes to extreme extents to where it affects how you date, how you view people. Now when it's time to do something, I feel like, oh my gosh, I feel so nervous, and I did not expect to feel that way. How long do you feel like it took you to finally get out of that? Like, this is like, we can do this.
I'm still in it. Ain't no.
I know, literally, bruh.
Right, so I feel like it's like a thing of, because when you're like even trying to mess around a little bit before then, you know, you get the conviction, you get like the feelings. But then after it, it's like, I'll go to pray and I'm like, dang, God, I'm here sinning. I'm like, oh, wait, no, it's my wife. Like, it's just like, I don't know. I think it's more of a mental thing, which is not, well, I never heard, like, people really haven't talked about it, at least to me, but like, it's just a mental thing where it's like, it was so ingrained in our heads that, like, you know, you have to keep yourself pure. And like, if you were doing stuff, you were like really not looked down upon, but kind of looked down upon. So like, when you're doing it and then it's just like you're under the covenant, there could very strongly be a chance that you still feel like, yo, I'm sinning right now. And is that God? I don't believe so, because we said our vows, we honored God, but we went to God with our marriage to honor God with our marriage. So obviously we could do it, but that's just honestly something that's put on by, like, you know, I would say culture, religion, all those type of things mixed in one. And it's really hard to kind of like not think about it at times, because it's just subconscious. You're like, oh my God, like, I'm having sex, but it's kind of rough. I don't know. It's hard.
It is hard.
Yeah.
And I think, like, one thing, like your sister was saying, it's like when you're not married, like you have that urge to like want to do it all the time.
Yes.
And then when you are married, it's like
you got wet feet.
Yeah, you're like nervous
Yeah.
and stuff like that. I mean, like at the end of the day, we still don't got no problems.
Yeah,
but
I mean, we do it. It's done.
But there is still that feeling of like, oh my gosh, like I really could do this now. Like I could have sex. I mean, no, like we're grown now and we're married. I can have sex.
This is a PG-18 and up video, not made for children.
Right, no, for real. The kids are in the room, kick them out. It's really just such a taboo thing that is talked about. Like you said, I've never heard it being talked about, conviction, quote unquote, post marriage. Like you said, like, is that from God? No, because he created this. We were designed by him to do this. I guess what I'm trying to understand is like the root of it. Like, where does this come from? And we did say, obviously, with like church culture, and it's kind of like, it feels like the biggest sin. Like, even in my just personal walk with God, like the biggest sin to me was always just like sexual sin. Even though, you know, all sins reach the same.
I feel like that's a lot of people's biggest
yeah
thing. Like, everybody thinks like, well, everybody kind of takes sexual sin as like the number one sin besides killing somebody, but you don't know everybody, like a lot of people that's killing people.
Yeah.
So it's just like, if you're having sex, it's just like,
yeah,
like, you know what I mean? You're looked at like the W word.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, I don't know, like there got to be a healthy balance where it's like when we start teaching like young adults essentially, or like, you know, high schools, whatever, about sex in a way where it's not like
dirty.
It's not like
I feel like I was taught in a way to where it was
it was dirty, like dirty as like ill, like,
yeah,
you know, because then that carries over to marriage. Like at the end of the day, it's gonna carry over. So there just gotta be, and I don't know if this is coming from like a culture thing, because we grew up in mostly Haitian churches. Like me, a little bit more Haitian American, her heavy just
Haitian.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know if it's a culture thing or if it's just like I don't know, like a religion thing.
So what age do you think, like when we have kids, that is the time to start speaking to them as far as like, you know, just like in a Christian sense of like sex before marriage and stuff?
I mean, when they hit puberty, they gon', you know what I mean? And the little sex class they get in health class, whatever, in school, that's not doing it for them. I'd rather it come from me, like, you know, letting them know, like, listen, you're gonna have emotions, you're gonna have hormones that are gonna be everywhere. But, like, think about it. A lot of kids get exposed to, like, porn and everything at a very young age, like, before they're even ready, like, before puberty.
Yeah.
All that, like, which they shouldn't be exposed to at all. You gotta kind of bring it up when they're starting to get to that age when they're realizing, okay, men and women do things together and happens. Maybe like 10, honestly.
Honestly, I think that's a good age, because I know kids, I remember being in daycare and kids were talking about sex, and that's young. So I think the earlier the better, honestly, and I want to be our child's first teachers before the world is, in a sense. And I don't want it to be a thing where like sex is like this, like, if you do this, like kind of like how it was like taught to us, in a sense. I don't want it to be that way for our children. Like, I would say too, for like my church specifically, like, baby, it was not given to us in a way that was like straightforward, but also just the way that embraced sex. It was just like, it's bad, it's nasty, it's this. And then you're married and it's like, it's not a switch that turns off. They were never able to kind of gradually bring us in. And obviously, you know, a lot of Haitian parents, like the way they raise their children, and I'm just going based off Haitian parents because that's who our parents are. A lot of Haitian parents, especially in churches, the way they raise their kids is based off of whatever church they go to. That's just it, plain and simple. It made it even to a point where, like, you know those little, like, sex ed classes, like, they'll give when you're, like, in middle school, like, the little one, they'll, like, sign, you're supposed to, like, get your parents to sign up for it. Like, my parents weren't with that. Like, I was, like, in the library, and then other kids were able to go watch it. But it's, like, How am I supposed to know these things if you're not going to talk to me about it because you don't want me to do it?
I feel like that generation, like, you know, immigrants coming to America, like, they've seen it at, like, very young ages, good or bad ways, like, it varies, but I feel like their take was just like, all right, let me just shield my kids from this as long as possible, and that will be protecting them. And obviously that didn't work.
Yeah.
Because this is the horniest, freakiest generation ever, like, and
we was a part of it.
Exactly. And it's all parents that's trying to just shield their kids from it. Kind of on some, like, ignorance is bliss, which only works up to a certain age. Because,
facts.
Like, if you think about it, we in school 8 hours a day when you're young. Your parents come home, you got, like, maybe a couple hours, but they're probably at work, whatever. So it's like, it just doesn't work. So at the end of the day, like, they tried a way. It didn't really work. But, you know, they didn't know better. We don't know better. Like, only we're going to try with our children, like, this whole generation.
Yeah.
And the way we might try might not work. But
that's true. And it's not even to dog out, like, parents.
Yeah,
you know,
no.
like, they try their best and they do their best. That's what all parents. And ultimately, the foundation of, like, what they're wanting for you is just for you to always be better than them. But that doesn't mean that in the way they're going about it is always, like, the correct way. It's coming from a good place, but that doesn't make it the correct way. There is no correct way, but we can try to be better than what our parents taught us, because essentially that's what they want, for us to be better.
Yeah, to be better.
So we're just going to have to continue the cycle just to get better and better and better.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you feel like your want for sex, like, before marriage is it a different type of want when you're in it than when you were out of it?
Yes, it's very different. And not to sound some, like, oh, like, I don't want it now. No, it's not that. It's just, like, something you kind of never experienced before. But then it's like, even if you dibble and dabble a little bit, it is a little bit of that. Like, you just know, how can I say it? It's like, all right, I'm trying to think of a good way to say it. It's like, you know, when somebody's flashing a cupcake in your face and you can't have it. Like, and it'd be the day when you got a sweet tooth. Like, you really just want a little something sweet to... And, like, you literally can't have it. Like, it's going to literally eat you alive.
Yeah.
And then you're going to find other things to kind of supplement for you not having that cupcake. Maybe it might be a little bit of, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, whatever. But it's just, like, something that you want so bad that you can't have is obviously going to, like, burn a little bit more. And you're going to think at the time, like, yo, like, I just need it so bad to this, to that. Like, even think about times, like, when people cut up, whatever, they do it outside of marriage. Once it's done or whatever, they're kind of like, like, that's that post-nut clarity. Like, was it really worth it? Was it really that? So I feel like just because we can't have it outside, obviously it's going to burn more. But being in it, like, I would say I have the same passions, but it's just that now it's like, okay, like, it's there for you. Like, I don't really gotta. So obviously it's not burning me alive because it's like, I could have it.
Yeah.
But, and not even saying like you're like an object, like I could have it, you know? Like, I'm not burning with it anymore. So
yeah.
I think it's just like you got to see it in a way where it's not like I don't want it. You know what I mean? When you burn for it, like, you burn. Like,
you do burn. I definitely feel like it was so intense when we were outside of marriage. Bro, imagine too, obviously we're not living together before we're married. So it's like these little glimpses of time that we're spending together. It's just like, he get blue balls and I get, like, blue balls as well at some point. So it's like,
you can only smoochy, kissy for so long.
Yeah, you can, and it's like your body will kind of yearn for it. And then when you're married, it's like, oh, I could literally have it whenever I want. Which also shows that, like, too, why I'm happy that we did wait, because at the end of the day, our foundation was built. I feel like it was even stronger because we didn't go, you know, to that extent and stuff like that.
It's like a test of your love, kind of.
Literally.
Like, you really have to see how much you love this person without, you know, adding the physical into it. So it's really just like, okay, how well can we connect? How deep can we connect? Like, how much fun can we have? Like, can I be around you when you're boring?
Yeah.
Or when I'm boring? When you're going through a rough time? When I'm going through a rough time? So it, like, because trust me, sex clouds all that. Like, it will be somebody that you do not connect with at all. But because it feels good, because it's like a level of intimacy that you like, you're going to think, oh, that's my person. But, like, God really wants you to wait, because it's like, yo, you got to even see. And this is for the men. Like, with men, again, you have to have the wisdom to choose a wife. Like, that's what God wants us to do. He wants us to choose, but we have to have wisdom to choose. If you're having sex, you're not going to be able to, like, think with a clear mind. And it's really true. I see it's true.
Yeah, I'm so happy that, like, we had the foundation built. The sex honestly became the cherry on top to what we already kind of had and what God built between us. So,
and we just enjoyed being around each other. Like,
yeah, genuinely, like, best friend. We actually like each other.
Yeah.
That's the part that ties it all together, to where it's like, sex is really fun.
Yeah.
I'm happy that we do it. I'm happy that we have it. Are you happy that we have it?
Yes. I felt the stare. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, I'm happy that we have it, and that's really the talk. So just a short little discourse on that, and hopefully this conversation can kind of like propel more conversations moving forward.
Ask your partner if you guys could chill 3 months, 6 months, a year without doing it, and see how it is.
Yeah, if you aren't waiting, like, see how it is. You will see, like, the real parts of that person. I promise you, you'll see it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's continue the convo. And I'll see you guys next time.
Ciao.
Bye.